Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics, and I'm a socialist. And that just means I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. And I know there's people out there that are going to listen to me and they're going to say, well, how do we pay for that? Which is like the dumbest question ever. But the answers are there are multiple ways that we can pay for socialism for all. The first would be to federally legalize cannabis. The second way would be a small change to our tax code. Let me explain. Economists say that socialism would save the average American over $8,000 per year. Sounds good, right? What's the downside, right? The downside is economists say that it would actually just cost each American about $2,000 a year in taxes that you file at the end of the year. And I also did some research, and about 70% of tax returns are for less than $2,000. So think about this. Not only could we federally legalize marijuana, which has and hemp and cannabis is the actual name of the plant. Okay, we could use that as a cash crop. It would have its own economy. I have friends that live in states that have legalized cannabis in the last year. Hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of thousands of jobs, right? What if we federally legalized that and cannabis became the United States cash crop? It would more than easily pay for socialism the world over. But more importantly, the small change to your tax code, it just means that that tax return you get at the end of the year for a couple thousand, that's just an overpayment in taxes. That's your money they're giving you. Well, what if you just didn't get that, but you saved $8,000 a year? Because the classic economic theory of socialism says that tax, interest, and rent are derivative of your labor, and that we should eliminate these things, and that companies make billions and billions of dollars a year, and tax and interest and rent, and mostly interest and rent. I'm for eliminating. I think that taxes are good. Okay, uh, he who has should pay. He who does not should not. They should receive, right? And a lot of people they say like dirty socialists, right? Okay, understand that at its core, socialism is about equality for all, equal rights for all, and respect for rule of law, and the expectation that if you commit the crime, you do the time. And this isn't I'm not someone who's like pro prison, right? I'm a full supporter of people that have records that have returned to society and made themselves into successful people. Just understand how infrequently that happens. Recidivism is real. But yeah, I wanted to talk today for a few minutes anyway and just say, hey, here's what socialism is at its foundation. Its foundation is equality. Universal healthcare, education, income, and housing are the pillars, and the roof is small business ownership. So the whole point of socialism, at least the brand of socialism that I think is going to be most effective in the United States, it's called syndicalist, like think syndicate, unionism, socialism. So in my research, I found a problem that a lot of these socialist movements have. And that is that it turned violent, and that's why you lost support because people were like, we did so good and we didn't need to be violent. We were just needlessly violent, and I can't support that. And there's a lot of people out there that want violence toward our oppressors. And they still have all the power. And so if you commit acts of violence, it's just your life. Nonviolence is the play. And there's a reason. There's a lot of people that think when fascism arrives that you need to violently overthrow fascist authoritarian dictatorship. And that is how communism happens. And that's where the government owns all the businesses, and then trickle down effects to that. That's never going to happen. That's just a lot of violence and more of the same. What I'm advocating for is we attack politics from as far left as possible without, and again, I just want to point this out. It's the far right that are violent. It's the far left that are pacifist. The problem in historical context is if you look backwards, a lot of socialist movements got violent and they lost all their support. And I'm sitting here saying, like, I've started the American Socialist Party in the United States. I need a treasurer. I need somebody with years of treasury experience that's like tired of the status quo and is like, Jared, I'll fucking help you. All you gotta do is manage the money, right? I'm not in it for money. But that's how you gain legitimacy as a political party in the United States. You got to at least raise $1,000 or spend 5,000. And don't worry, this isn't me asking you for money. If you've noticed, that's one of the things I fucking hate about all of this is like I have like a pretty big platform for a white boy, like 20,000 followers across 3 sites. Like that's a fucking ton for really only fucking with social media hard for like the last 90 days. And I don't even do it as hard as I could. I don't go as hard as I could go. I have a job and a life and I'm married and I have dogs. But one of the things that I've noticed is that there are people growing increasingly pro-violence. And they're saying, there's 7 of them and there's 344 million of us, or 334 million of us. Why don't we just unalive all of them? And I just want you to know that just means 7 people go to prison for murder and nothing fucking changes. And a lot of political theorists over time have pointed out the reason your movement failed is because it was violent, because it got violent. It got violent. And again, I think that the Republican Party is collapsing in on itself. And it's because of the violence. See, look, man, my whole life, they were largely ineffective and just doofusy and kind of backwards and racist. But what they're doing now is absolutely the most violent political party the United States has ever seen. I tried to take a long time to get here. Hey, Elon Musk said yesterday that they are going to audit Social Security, and that includes potentially stopping payments. And I just want you all to know, I told you so. I told you social safety nets were on the chopping block if those people got into office. Now, I'm still in full belief they've cheated, and hopefully one day we rectify the situation. Like how does the United States help South Korea, help all these countries, right? But we can't have democracy here. We got this fucking bullshit going on. And I wanted to speak on for a moment how fucking sad it was to watch Elon Musk stand and speak while Donald Trump looked down and away. And as I said, Elon Musk is the worst president ever, is a terrible president. We have to keep inferring that Elon Musk is the president. We have to keep inferring that Elon Musk is the president because it gets under Donald Trump's skin and you can see it visibly. It bothers him. And I don't know about you, But when you have an itch, you scratch it.